Greetings, fellow humans, and I spell that Huemonds, colorful nuts, because that's what we are here in wonderful Pahrump, where we have a lot of sharp-elbowed, rootin' tootin' pistol packing people, and we love it. Tonight's show, the question is, what does it mean to serve in the Nevada Frontier? We've got two great guests tonight. One Dave and I did last week down in Las Vegas with Dave Marlon, a master class in how do you help those who need help the most. Dave, who also happens to be running for City Council, great guy, really smart, high vision, super guy. That's our second segment. But in studio, we are very privileged to have another person from out of town who's been here a few years, Tony Baca. It's, I can't say enough about him. You'll see. Great guy, great vision, high IQ, our kind of guy. As Princeton said of Joel in Risky Business, Tony is our kind of guy. So we'll be right back for that. Hello world, here we are in Las Vegas, Nevada Frontier. I would say this is kind of like ground zero.
Yeah, for the homelessness crisis,
No, well, that too, but when here's an interesting thing, Dave. This is our very special guest, Dave Marlon, from the East, who came West, and when people around the world are asked, name the top 10 cities in the world, no matter where you're from, around number 7 is always Las Vegas.
Wow, that's amazing.
Isn't that kind of crazy?
Especially since population-wise, it's probably not in the top 100.
Correct. And what about age? Like they'll say London, Paris, New
older,
York.
Right, it's a newer city as well.
And they say around number 7 all around the world is Vegas. So this is the Nevada Frontier Show, and 60 miles to the west is the Nevada Frontier. Easy to get to from everybody. 60 miles past that is Death Valley. And 70 miles, 80 miles north is Area 51. Here we are, though, in Las Vegas. And the thing about Vegas is they do things here that they don't do anywhere in the world, right?
It is the entertainment capital of the world.
Okay. And
we have millions and millions of visitors every week.
Yeah.
So the fact that we're a city of 2 or 3 million people is leveraged just because we have over 40 million people come each year.
40 million.
Yeah, 42 last year.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's a lot of humans.
And I know that you're running for City Council. We'll talk a little bit about that later, because it fits into the overall thing that I was getting to before we had to take 2 on this. So we're kind of loose because we're from Pahrump. This is not the top market. We can be a little bit loose. We can wear a tie-dye shirt. And
I dig it. And I like the fact that I've known you for quite a long time. And wrote from one of your prior magazines. Yeah, and we crossroads all different ways.
Yeah, we're going to bring that back. But would you say, true or false, Las Vegas is Las Vegas because they have people who have a high IQ and vision?
I would say there were some people who had a high IQ and vision. Okay. But I believe if we looked at the average IQ of people in Vegas now and compared it to
the people who made it,
the people who made it, no question. There's some very smart people who decided we are going to have a business, gaming, entertainment-friendly city.
In the middle of the desert.
In the middle of the Mojave Desert, which to me it's fascinating that some of the most expensive real estate on the entire planet happens to be right down the street here in the Mojave Desert when you look per square foot or per square acre.
Wow. But that's because the people who had vision.
Yes. And they were able to not let the government ruin it.
Yeah. Which is the problem we are fighting against, becoming like that, right?
Yes, and I recognize we're fighting it, although it all comes from well-intentioned, well-meaning encroachment. But it still ends up stifling creativity, reducing entrepreneurship, and making it less appealing overall. So, we're big supporters of freedom, and this city being right near the frontier of Las Vegas, it's a bastion of freedom.
Yeah. You came out here for almost 40 years ago, a little bit less than 40 years. How much has it changed?
A ton. When I first came out here, we were like a rural, cow town. And I did a lot of jogging on dirt roads. And, to me, if I wanted a good meal, I would go to Denny's. if I wanted to see a museum, I would drive to LA. If I wanted good food, same thing. I would drive to another city. And seeing,
which is a long drive.
It is. It's a 4-hour drive by car. It's been beautiful to see Vegas become a culinary hub for the world, because I'm a foodie. I like to eat. It's been great to see libraries and bookstores and the arts with the Smith Center and shows come to Las Vegas. That's been, culturally, Las Vegas has completely transformed itself, and I love that.
I moved here in 1990 to go to law school.
Wow.
I got here and I discovered there was no law school in the whole state. So I went back to San Diego to go to law school. So in terms of things changing, that's just
right. We now have a law school. We now have multiple medical schools.
Yeah. And I know in the niche that you serve, you have always, well, at least I think for the last 10 years, since I've been here a little bit more than 10 years, but for the last 10 years, when people talk about the business that you're in, your name always comes up. And would you say you're one of the people with vision in that field? I mean, just immodestly say that.
I've certainly helped more people with a substance use disorder than anybody alive today in Las Vegas, in Nevada.
Wow. And that's not a small number.
It's not a small number, although it's not because I'm amazing. It's just because I've been here doing it, and
well, that's the key.
And I love the fact that I get to do it. It's the greatest gift. That I spent a good conversation this morning with a young lady who was debating whether she had a problem, and I was talking to her about her children and what she wants them to see, and being able to help her move her perception a little bit towards considering recovery. To me, it's a gift that I get to be able to do, not just for her, also for her kids, and also for our whole community.
Yeah. So is your first thought when somebody says, I'm wondering if I have a problem, it's like, well, then you probably do?
I'm trained and licensed as a clinician, so there's a variety of criteria I go through, but I'll ask, are you, how's your job? Are you performing your job? How are your relationships? Would your partner say you had a problem? So I would look at the different dimensions of their life, and I would solicit questions from the client's voice. I wouldn't be putting on, any of my judgment. I would listen to what they say, and then I would help synthesize it and parrot it back to them.
Okay. And would you say, you would agree, I think, that Vegas is a fast money town?
Yes, it is. And
that brings problems too, right?
It brings
alcohol,
problems, and it brings lots of money. And a lot of people come here wanting to acquire drugs. They want to drink. They want to, what happens here stays here was Vegas's iconic slogan for 19 years now.
Mm-hmm. What is it now? Is it still that?
It's still that, although I'm hoping and I believe that we're ready to evolve.
Okay.
It's one of the things.
Any thoughts of what that is evolved to?
I would like us to be, Las Vegas is a city with a soul, that we've shown we could pull together a community and we could help address systemic problems like homelessness. And I believe that people in the world would prefer to come to a city that has a soul, that solve real social problems, as opposed to one that what happens here stays here, let's engage in debauchery.
Manufactured freedom, right?
Yeah.
So, let me say it this way for our, our show is big in Germany.
Yeah.
So what's your German connection? Because you can't be on the show unless you have a German connection.
Well, that's great. My mom was born in Germany and spent part of her childhood living in Germany. She came to the United States as an immigrant when she was 14. Her first language is German, as she had me in her late teens. So she swore at me in German. So I know lots of German curse words.
Like what?
I'll go with Schweinhund.
Okay. What does that mean?
That's a pig dog.
Pig dog.
Yeah.
That's a swear word?
Yeah, it's an expletive that you would yell at somebody. Schweinhund!
Okay, you wouldn't want to be that. You wouldn't want that as a nickname.
You would not.
Okay.
I've also visited Germany many times, and the
like
fact
where
that
your family came from?
Where my family came from, and then also Munich and Berlin and Stuttgart, and seeing how green Germany is, driving a car there is lovely.
Yeah, what's the Autobahn like?
It wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. Okay. You know, I thought it was going to like blow the doors off. I'm going to speed like crazy, and it was, I have another story, but it was like when I sold my company. And I woke up that morning and I looked at my bank account and I saw my bank account had a lot more money than it ever had or ever thought it was going to have. And I looked at it.
And that was a lot because you didn't.
Yeah, but the point was that nothing changed.
Okay.
When I got on the Autobahn, I thought I was going to turn into a speed racer, and nothing changed. It was just me driving on a highway, and maybe I went, 90 instead of 80. So it was beautiful because it was just starkly green. The foliage, and the history, and the people were so lovely. I really loved Germany. I loved traveling there. I can't wait to go back.
Now, at that point, were you drinking at all? Like, were you able to enjoy the German wine or beer?
I remember the first time I went to Germany, I was so excited. I went in and I ran up to a bar and I said, I want a beer. And I raised my finger for a beer, and he came and he brought me 2 beers.
Okay.
And he put them down, and I learned that the Germans start with this.
Oh, yeah, right. I saw that in the movie.
As an American, I ordered a beer. The guy brought me 2, so I was like, well, I gotta have 2.
Let it go to waste. So, okay, so you qualify to be on the show, technically.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, right. So, you guys are doing very important work here.
Thank you.
And I think that's why a lot of people are supporting you going to the next step to help the community.
I hope so. I recognize we have about 8,000 people that are unhoused in our valley, and I used to run the largest HMO in town where we helped hundreds of thousands. So getting 8,000 people evidence-based behavioral health care is not an insurmountable task.
Yeah.
We've actually ramped up. We should be able to deliver treatments to half of them this year just with our little clinic.
Wow.
So we are under the belief that the people who are unhoused, in most cases, are sick people who have a mental illness or have a substance use disorder, and what they don't need is a billy club or handcuffs or be put in jail. What they need is immediate access to integrated behavioral health care so they can get well.
Okay. Now, what about hope? Is that important at all?
Hope?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay, tell me about that.
I believe that all you have to do is do the treatment.
Okay.
Some people come in and they are hopeless. And they're like, this is not going to work. The only reason I'm here is because of the darn judge or my girlfriend is making me. And I say, it doesn't matter. That's cool. Just sit, just do this and be here tomorrow. Keep doing it. And if you do it, good news is you're going to end up getting well.
One day at a time?
One day, it's a gradual process. Now, hope is imperative for you to be able to move on.
Okay.
Because,
right.
Hope
alone doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything. It takes the work.
With no tools.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
We need to be able to help them along so they can become self-sufficient.
Got it. And how many new people come in a day here? Would you guess?
I get mad when we don't treat 10. 10 a day is a basic day.
You know what the number of the people downstairs think new people coming in is?
5
times that number. And to me, from the last time I was here, it was like I was blown away. You got people everywhere here.
I actually have the sheet. It's we're averaging a little over 10.
Okay.
But to me, I have the systems in place to get them psychiatric care, case management, peer support, and clinical care. With that number, because each one of these humans has a host of issues.
Yeah.
Because they don't come in saying, "Help me stop using meth." They come in saying, "I need a place to sleep."
Yeah, right.
And then we have to pivot.
Then I need food, I need hygiene, I need everything.
Who's going to take care of my dog? Yeah. And I got to tell you, this is really my mom's fault. We got to get her on the phone right now.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
It's like a plate of spaghetti, right? You got to.
And you know this. Yeah. I know you know this because you've helped so many people in Pahrump.
Yeah.
And when you think about this conceptually, it's very different from when they're in front of you one at a time, talking to you about their traumas and integrating their system and their theories of the world. It's very different.
Yeah. It's different on paper than in the real world.
Yeah.
So, but you are really at the tip of the spear, and it's a spear that's moving at a very strong, unstoppable pace. And we really need to get you to the next level, to help you get to the next level, because it's tough, right?
It is. And while I focus on the 8,000 people who are unhoused, but most of our communities have parks. And many of our parks have homeless in the parks, which make our families not want to go to the parks and not feel safe. These people who are unhoused in the parks, they're committing property crimes. They need to get food. They need to get water. They need to get things. So they're increasing crime. And to me, Las Vegas, that we talked about, this 7th known city in the world, it's a brand.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're allowing this homelessness crisis to fester is tarnishing the Vegas brand. And it's really, to me, it's imperative that all of us team up together in a community and say, you know what? Vegas Stronger is helping address, they've figured out how to address about half of it. Let's help them get all 8,000 people off the street. So when you come and visit, you don't see a place with panhandling and vagrancy and the smell of cannabis and people begging and tents and encampments. What you should see is girls with feathers, and you should be walking through casinos to be able to spend your tourism dollars in a glamorous place.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, as Christians, we're commanded to feed the hungry, the thirsty, provide housing, clothing.
We are, but we could do it in a way that isn't hurtful.
Yeah.
Because when you go to a person in Pahrump who is sleeping behind a dumpster, and you say, here's your food for the day, all they're going to say is, please come back tomorrow so I could stay here. And then what you're doing as this good Christian is you are propagating the unhealthy cycle of homelessness. And we still need to be Christians and help them. You'd be more helpful if you'd put them in an Uber and send them to Vegas Stronger to get some help.
We're trying to do that. Now, that's what I call feeding the pigeons. Is you just give them food for the day,
Agreed. And when you use a human as an animal or a pigeon, I know it invokes, the ire. Yeah. So I try not, because it's the same lesson I learned when I saw a stray cat. And I said, hey, Mommy, could I feed the stray cat? Yeah. And my mom, she's a kind lady, she said, no, you can't. If you do that, you get a cat.
Exactly. Yeah. And so there are people who believe we need to meet them where they're at, but that's not helping them, right?
We can meet them where they're at and get them the help they need, not give them money to propagate their drug use.
Yeah. Yesterday was the point in time count for Nye County.
I know very well. I was up at 3 a.m.
Was it down here too?
It was down here too. State? Yeah, we were counting.
So I was doing it up there.
Oh, right on. Yeah. That's cool.
And there, it reminded me of the 1850s, people coming from the east out here, and they stop and they cobble together a place to live. But up there, they're typically in these old trailers or fifth wheels that have no power, no water. They're just, somebody dragged them out to a place.
No clean restroom.
No, and the strange thing is, the people have acclimated to that life.
Right.
And their day is spent, I got to go get food, I got to go do this, I got to do that. Who's going to come and bring me water? And
where do I get my crystal meth?
Yeah, there's no forward progress. So what would you say about those people? What's the thing to do?
I don't think humans should exist without clean restrooms.
Okay.
I think potable water is a requirement. I believe air conditioning in the Mojave Desert is a requirement for life.
Okay.
So each of those things need to exist. And I do not think we should allow people, certainly in an urban environment, to exist like that.
Yeah.
I would offer.
What about rural?
Now,
it's a little bit different.
It is a little bit different. And if you decide, forget this world, I want to go off the grid.
Yeah.
And you want to go hike up a mountain.
Yeah.
I like the fact that in this country you could do that. I think that we fought for you to have the right to do that.
Yeah.
Now, if you do that and you have a psychotic break and you become severely schizophrenic and you are no longer to care for yourself, I believe it's incumbent on the state to intervene and to help you.
Yeah.
And there we start getting into the rub.
How do we do that? Because that is the rub. The people who need to be somewhere, they don't want to be, they want to do their thing,
right.
But they are hurting the people around them.
Yeah. I have 2 employees in Pahrump who do outreach.
Yeah.
And what we do is we engage in a conversation.
Okay.
And if we talk to you and you say, I'm a camper and I live in the Nevada Frontier, and I make sentences and here's how I get water, and I shoot a rabbit each day and that's what I eat and I cook it, and I want to be a free American. You know, to me, my outreach with people would say, you know, God bless you.
Yeah.
If you move along a little farther and you see somebody and their teeth are falling out and they're telling you that I fly a sign down on 183 to try to raise money to get more fentanyl each day, and that's what I need. My people will try to coax that second person to get in the car with them to come back and get some help.
Okay, now what if the person says, I live on a UFO?
Okay.
And they're using drugs, but they don't want to come because they're happy living on the UFO that comes and picks them up when the sun goes down.
Right.
And they've had a schizophrenic break. Let's say they just...
What I usually find is when we engage in conversation with this person that we're able to help differentiate some things from them. Some of those people need to be encouraged to get in the truck to go. Actually, most of them need to be encouraged to get in the truck and get some help. And if not, we need to identify who their support system is and who is enabling them to stay in that. And we need to work on cutting off those lifelines so we can then encourage them to get in the truck, because they shouldn't be out there waiting for their UFO using drugs. Okay, people, see, that's a master class in what needs to be done. High IQ, tremendous vision. We got a couple minutes left, Dave. What do you want to talk about? Well, what I would tell everybody is that I help people with substance use disorders. I've helped over 10,000 people, and I believe you may have a substance use disorder. So one thing I like asking people to do is ask yourself these 2 questions. Do you use compulsively? And when I say use compulsively, this could be the Loratab next to your bed. It could be your benzodiazepine, like your Xanax. But do you take them compulsively? What does that mean, compulsively? On a regular basis, seemingly out of your control, just you do this. It's part of your routine? Yes. Compulsive use despite negative consequences. Okay. If you find that you take these pills, but then you can't go to work, or your partner yells at you, or you get arrested for going DUI, if you use something, whatever it is. Could be alcohol. It could be shopping. If you're doing something, it could be gambling. If you compulsively do this or use this despite negative consequences, then you may have a chronic brain disease, a substance use disorder, or a compulsive behavior that you would benefit from treatment.
Okay.
And I, like the Hair Club for Men guy, I'm not just a person, a doctor who works here. You know, I'm also a person who firmly believed my whole life that I am just better at drinking beer than everyone else. And that it wasn't until I got some outside help that I was able to realize that I compulsively drank despite negative consequences. And I became a little bit willing to get some outside help. And that little bit, perhaps even a mustard seed of willingness, allowed me to let treatment work, become well, and my life has been dramatically better since 5/15 of 05 when I had my last drink. And I'm very grateful for every day that I get to be of service. Most importantly, that I get to be a dad to my 2 boys who've known a dad who doesn't drink or use drugs. And
so that's now, was that the 2 questions?
Yep.
The first one was,
do you compulsively use? Is it despite negative consequences?
Okay. Now, what if it's one but not the other?
Then you got time.
Like you're on the, okay.
Then you got time. Keep dancing.
Stop now while you're ahead.
Well, you know, it's like my position on cannabis use, you know, which is all the rage. When we were kids, less than 4% of Americans consume cannabis. Now, 50% of Americans have used cannabis. And when you look at the graph, sometimes they'll talk to you about this last 5 years or 10 years. They're going to say the graph is like listen, the graph goes like this, all right? Okay. We were less than 4%, now we're at 50%. And to me, I believe that we have this experience, this spiritual experience to go through in life. Why wouldn't you not do it fully present, in the most capacity you have to be of service, to be the best person you could be? And cannabis reduces your IQ.
Yeah.
It increases psychosis. It's a carcinogen. It reduces your memory. There's a variety of problems that, I get it. Some people like to get high. I used to like to get high, but to me, if you break out your calculator and do the math never makes sense.
Now, how about, how much of people that are using drugs, it's because they're masking some underlying trauma? Versus it's just pure recreational?
A lot of them have a trauma that's integrated with their substance use. However, they have identified the 11th chromosome, it's called the A1 allele gene defect. To me, about 9% of humans have a genetic brain disease. And to me, you got it or you don't have it. I have it, you may not have it, you know, God bless you. I happen to have it. And the fact that I've had traumas along the way, sure, that it certainly made using drugs and alcohol better because I didn't have to think about that stuff. But I think it's a brain disease that responds to treatment. And I'm not diminishing anybody's trauma. You know, trauma is real and it's something we have to work through. Although I will tell everyone that the trauma was in the past, and hopefully it's not going on right now, because each one of us are given a choice of what we're going to do today. So, you know, I encourage you to do the best you can today, especially if that entails helping somebody.
Wow. Okay. Masterclass 2, Chapter 2. So, Dave, you know, thank you very much for taking the time.
I appreciate you chatting with me. This was fun. I hope we get to do it again.
We are going to do it again, and we're going to bring the magazine back.
Cool.
We're going to be doing it back into people in prison. Counting on you helping.
100%. I'm unwavering.
This has been very great. You're helping a lot of people. We're committed to doing whatever we can to help you in the future. And let's give a shout out to Father Max.
Agreed. Father Max, I love him. He helps me more often than he knows. Very frequently, I'll be getting ready to make a bad decision, and a little Father Max will pop up, and I'll think to myself, is this behavior that would be becoming of my friend Father Max? And I'm grateful for him for that and his friendship.
Yeah. Okay, Dave, thank you. Thank you for this great, very informative. We're going to take it back to the people of Pahrump or Pahrump, you choose.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hello. So here we are. We're going to just dive right in. And are we doing this like Abbott and Costello?
Yes.
Who's on first?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right. So we just got to set the mood, get the expectations right. Right?
I got it.
So this is Tony Baca. Tony has been in, well, I'm going to let Tony tell his own story. But as a starting point, we're always looking for people who are going to make the community better. And if they're from the West, that's even better. Now, do you consider Albuquerque the West?
Close enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Southwest.
Albuquerque's,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So, Tony, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Where'd you grow up?
Hey, first, thank you for having me on, Ed.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Grew up in Albuquerque from 61 to 86, basically, and then left to Southern California in 86, 10 years there, and then came to moved to Las Vegas in 97.
Okay, so you've been in Vegas from 97, and you're still there.
I'm still there. Yeah.
How's the commute?
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Get time to think?
I love it.
Talk
Yeah.
on the phone?
Yeah.
Listen to Bible, scripture?
Yeah.
all the above?
I just love the commute, man. It just like coming from the city out here and just appreciating it, that freedom feel. Oh, it's awesome.
When you get up to, what is it, Spring Mountain? Mountain Springs, and then you make that turn and you see the Pahrump Valley,
Yeah.
always makes you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just beautiful.
yeah. And in the morning, I guess the sun, what time do you come up in the morning?
About 7.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the sun is up,
Yep.
but the colors are really nice.
Yep.
And you see the whole valley.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Do you ever notice the dust devils during the summer?
I haven't seen
The
one.
poof dirt?
I've been coming for 3 years and I haven't seen
Oh,
one.
yeah, well, they're in high summer heat. You'll see them all, about 5 of them at one time. But anyway, we're kind of digressing a little bit. So, you know, what you do is very important on several levels. One, the business that you have and where it is. But two, it's more like a ministry, and I want to get into that. But for the people who don't know you, what exactly do you do?
At Pahrump Rentals?
Yeah.
Because I do I'm involved in other companies, but Pahrump Rentals is a equipment rental store, and it's called Do It Best right now. We're changing that, but it's sort of like an Ace Hardware. So we're an Ace Hardware store in the past as a party rental store. So that's what the company does. What I do is a little bit different.
Okay, what is it that you do? Because that's the important thing.
I love people and serve them. It's just, that's my energy.
What brought you here? And why? What brought you here?
This time?
What do you mean this time? I don't mean today.
No, I know, but this time meaning I've been coming out here for about 10 years just trying to, like, how am I going to get out there, right?
Huh.
And so it brought me here this time specifically. I had artificial turf that I dove into that business.
I remember that.
Recycled artificial turf, which is a whole story in itself. But at one point I had rented a lot and the prices kept on going up in Vegas like a lot of things do. And then I was like, I got to take this somewhere. And I said, it's going to be Pahrump. It's really a move of faith, but it was like I found I had to be Pahrump, and then I found Pahrump Rentals, and that was the landing spot. And so that's what brought me out here, and that's what started what I call the ministry, or just loving this place and loving the people.
So would you say you were called by God?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that? What does that mean?
Yeah. So as we walk with the Lord, and oh gosh, it's just so cool, because one event from Las Vegas that became uncomfortable created a motivation to move in the direction He wanted me to move, not knowing where. It's sort of like Abraham going, just move, go do it. And I moved out here, and there's a discomfort of moving, right? It's new territory,
Sure.
and you just have to go in faith that you're doing the right thing. I landed in a great spot, and then as I observed things, I was just sort of doing just business.
Yeah.
But then it became my spot for just talking to people. Like now.
Now are you talking about at the
Customers,
store?
yeah,
Okay.
stores, customers at the stores are like, what do you do? And I'm thinking, if I were a pastor of a church or somebody just loved people, I'm going to find out what they do. I'm just going to listen.
Yeah.
So, but it became my platform in a way of just drawing people in, and then I would just start to get to know the community and what people think through that. And it wasn't clear to me at the time, but then as time moved on, I could share that later. But as time moved on, it became clearer and clearer why I was there.
And would you say more people kept coming in, or people kept coming back more often, or both? Like, do you have a bunch of people you know that you see them regularly?
More of new people coming in. And I have regulars now, and I call them like friends, because they're like, Tony, hey. So it's awesome to see them come back, right? But I think in God's eyes, or the whole thing was this, getting to know different people, young, old, new, that they've been here forever, or they've just got here, and they were just incoming. So it was opportunities to get to know new people.
And now, for the people who don't know, and the people in the rest of the world, you said it's kind of like an Ace Hardware store, but I don't really see it that way. I see it more as an equipment rental place that has a bunch of stuff, but it's easy to navigate the store.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I was mentioning Ace Hardware because it's called Do It Best is the membership. So Ace Hardware, True Value, Do It Best. So that's our hardware when you go in there, and all the supplies. So if you look at equipment rentals, one section, and hardware and supplies are a different section.
Okay. And so what would you say you are mainly, a hardware store or a equipment rental?
Yeah, historically it's been 3/4. Well, I haven't been there historically. It's a 40-year-old company.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's part of the whole story. But the thing is, so if you look at the numbers, it's mostly hardware, and then about a third rentals. And historically it may have been switched, but that's what it is now.
Okay. And do you usually find that people come in expecting to get one thing and they leave with two more things? Meaning, one more thing is they didn't expect to meet somebody that they like talking to, or sounding board?
It's becoming that.
Okay.
So the company was in decline because of the former owner's health.
Okay.
And so, as you can imagine, trying to run, just to say as a household, you're doing less and less energy. And so I didn't really, people have been coming for years, so I didn't really experience it firsthand if they're picking up. But now it's changed, and they are picking up more products.
And the former owner, is that the person who started it 40 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's, did they even have, yeah, they did have electricity 40 years ago, right? It was in the late 60s they got electricity up here? Gloria, fact check. So the team, we're missing a key person of our team today. I want to say, Anthony, we miss you. But, it's working, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mikey's always doing his job off camera. Well, so how do you keep the lights on when you're serving, when your fundamental mission, your calling is to serve people? How do you focus also on the business side?
So that's just sort of the way God wired me,
Okay.
and for a long time, I'll quickly touch on this. Being a business person, and then there was a point in my life I was like, I feel like I've been called pastor. Every time I do ministry, they say, hey, Pastor Tony. I'm like, I'm not a pastor. So I was like, which one is it, Lord? and so this clarified it for me. Like, you can have a ministry and be a pastor in a sense, but so how do we keep the lights on? Is that the question? So the nice part, it's an established company, right? And so now
In a great location.
In a great location, and it's got a presence here, and I wanted to keep that presence. It was in decline because of the owner's health. And so so the lights on is a big issue because fortunately we do have ongoing business, and now we're bringing in more business, and the whole company's going to change and grow and serve the community better. So so that's how we keep the lights on, by sales and rentals.
Okay. Yeah. And I saw there's a couple pieces of really brand new equipment out in front. Big equipment.
Yeah, and more's coming today. And that's part of the changes, because I saw when I was out there, you've been there, the turf was, I would observe the company and say, there's a lot of area unutilized here, so it's the right time I'll bring in more equipment and change this and grow it and serve the community better. But that's why you're seeing equipment, because there's new opportunities coming in, and there's going to be a lot of changes, and good changes, in the near future.
Is your store the only store where you can rent small equipment? 'Cause I don't think they do that at Home Depot anymore.
I think so, but I haven't checked out the competition. I know there's some others, but I just keep my focus on we're going to just love people and serve them, and that's the way to bring them in and train our people better. They're so valuable. The people that work there now, such great talent and value. So part of the whole shoring up of things is changing things on the ground floor in them, and then serving the community.
Okay, so we're right on something good, but we're going to take a break. But Gloria, very quickly, fact check me.
In 1963, the first public electricity was brought to Pahrump Valley. In 1965, Valley Electric Association
Okay,
was
just need the
established.
short version. 65, wow. Amazing how new our community is. And so hold on, we're going to be right back for the second part of this. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is our last segment with Tony this time, because you're going to be back.
I hope so.
So we were talking about a lot of things, but I had in my notes to ask you about your roots to the west, your Albuquerque roots, but also your German roots. We talked about that a little bit yesterday.
So what I know historically on my mom's side, because New Mexico and like the I-40 and just that area was, primarily Spanish. Like my last name is from Spain, and so our family landed there probably in 1500s and all that. But they had a lot of French and everybody coming through because it was a trade route. And so the Germans, the French, the Portuguese, there's a lot coming through. So that's part of that on my side. And then of course, my wife's side's her mom's Schlenker.
Okay.
And then my oldest son and my first wife, a long time ago, her last name was Stahlhet.
Okay.
So
you're German by marriage.
German
sort
by
of.
marriage and through my mom's side of the family.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, cool. And now, what was Albuquerque like growing up?
It was the only thing I knew because that's where I grew up. But
Yeah.
it was actually very nice, I went everywhere, pleasant people. Schools are great. For me, it was a great experience.
Did you play sports?
I played sports from track to football, basketball. Loved football, and we had a great team. For little Albuquerque, and I mean we had a great team, but I never knew the big world of bigger sports.
Sure. What was the population of Albuquerque when you were growing up?
At the time, it was around 300-something thousand.
Okay, so compared to here, that's huge.
Right.
Right. So many high schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Not like here.
Well, it probably had 20 at the time, but I don't know. I think we have one here, right?
Okay, so I grew up in a town of about 15,000 people.
Oh, okay.
And we had a lot of fun, and everybody liked playing with gasoline and stuff like that. But so you grew up in Albuquerque, and was it pretty rural, or was it easy to get out to the west, to the frontier?
Oh yeah, because my dad grew up in a ranch.
Okay.
It's a typical ranch, and so they would do hunting was normal, once a year for deer hunting, and then we got to the ranch, and for me it was like I grew up in the city, so I'd ask him about ranching, but it's in my DNA, man. It was like I just loved hearing the stories and seeing them. Actually, in his adulthood, living in Albuquerque, still going out to the ranch and getting on a horse and I don't even know the terminology, but wrangling cattle. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
See all that stuff. It's cool.
So I guess maybe even non-consciously, this kind of reminds you of the West out there versus Vegas, right?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. Where grandma's important, grandpa's important. The people, you just respect them, because that's what I saw growing up. We'd go to the small town where my parents are from for weddings and funerals and other things. But then as a kid, you'd observe grandma's important, and grandpa and all that. And this is the same way, like
Here.
Yeah, it's just great. And, so it reminds me of that.
So one of the things that I notice is people going to church. Because your store is sort of like becoming a ministry sort of church type thing. People go there for spiritual nourishment.
Absolutely.
Would you say?
So in a different way. So one day, you spend time with the Lord, and it's like, Tony, in a sense, some people won't go to church, so I'll bring church to them, in a sense.
Okay.
That you just start serving them and loving them. Very basic stuff, but very powerful, right? The second part, the clarity became like, Pahrump Rentals is a platform to serve the community. I'm involved in other businesses that will come into play shortly. But then it was like, I know what to do. First circle is my employees, serve them. And then now, and I started 3 years ago doing this, donating to churches and nonprofits, right? Because we wanted to take that, we wanted to become an outflow. And so, and I can elaborate a little bit more on that if you have time.
Please do, yeah.
So to take that down to the very, where I see it going, I supported, unless, for example, they pay me for equipment, this came up lately, we need to rent equipment. I said, no, we'll give it to you for free. No, can we pay for it? I said, no, we'll give it to you for free. Because I saw it this way. I want to keep if I keep the money in the ministry, they could do more vacation Bible schools, or they could do more outreach, so they could do, so I'm allowing them to do more instead of paying it back. So what does that do to the city, right? The town, the kids become better citizens, marriages stay together longer, and it adds to the health of the community.
Okay, that is, incredible. And I'm just recalling that we were talking the last couple times we met about a day labor thing to help people get back to work. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well,
it's kind of along the same lines of giving back.
Yeah.
People.
So I think I mentioned to you at one point, God takes messes into messages.
No, but that's good. I'm going to write that one down.
And so my wife and I looked at, so this really falls in line with everything. So number one, God took my wife and I and made two messes into a message of what he can do through somebody's life.
He made you a mess?
No, we were a mess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we were definitely, he looked down and said, I'm going to work with them too. They're a real mess, and I'm going to take their story and what they've gone through and what I did in their life to a message of hope and that kind of thing. Pahrump Rentals is a mess into a message. It was in major decline. So I'm sitting there going like, here's another mess into a message. Only God can handle this. God can take this mess. So, for example, I don't have any weight on my shoulders there. It's God taking a mess, and it's, there's, decline and into a message.
Health problems.
So, that just, so then it goes into what you're talking about, feeds right into it. So the people that we were talking about that maybe their lives are messed up, and then you've worked with them, now we're going to put them into work environments. And these are the people, like you shared, these people were willing to do the work. They weren't just raising their hand, they were willing to do the work. And so we want to provide an opportunity for them to get working again, because they've already done a lot of the work, get plugged in. But then there's a lot of need in the community as well. There's a shortage of labor everywhere.
The the interesting thing last week was the point in time count. So going out, who are the homeless people? And the good news is there's only about 200 people who are hardcore in the desert homeless. Now that's a big number, but it's not big. In Vegas, there's 7,000 people living on the streets. Here it's 200. That's a manageable number. And the people here deserve a lot of credit because somehow we don't have a lot of people. Maybe it's the environment, maybe it's just too cold or too hot, I don't know. But there's only about 200 people. But there's 10 times that number of people that are one problem away from being wiped out. And I think that the ready labor business and what you're doing and giving back to people, helping the community, I think that's right on. And I think that your vision of doing that is, spot on of what is needed. Did you have that kind of outlook, predisposition to the world before here, or is that something you got like solving a problem when you got here? The mess when you got here.
Yeah, it's a good question. So the preparation was when we served at Owens and A Street in Las Vegas. We had about 400 people a week. So I was hands-on with feeding the homeless and working with Salvation Army, the Rescue Mission,
charities, et cetera.
All this stuff. And so I'm thankful, like that was preparation time for this, to understand this, and you put together a lot of the missing pieces for me that, I understand as a whole, but you come along, I'm like blown away because you're like, you understand it. I experienced it, so I can understand it. But so I hope that answers your question.
Okay.
So like that was the preparation for this.
Let me ask it this way.
Okay.
Were you pulled here because you felt there was a mess? Or when you got here, did you find a mess? And I think the mess is really way too strong, too harsh, but just to go with.
Absolutely didn't know there was a mess.
Okay.
Yeah.
You came here because you were drawn here.
Selling turf.
Oops. Okay.
No, I mean, I
had
to bring it.
I had Dave.
Yeah, I had to bring it to here. And then as I observed, I saw what was going on around me. So I hope that maybe I didn't answer your question, but
okay. So tell me again, who's on first?
Yeah.
So you came here thinking you were going to be doing
right,
turf,
yep.
And then you got here, and you pivoted, or you were pulled, or whatever happened, and now you're doing something that's way more important than that.
Exactly. So yes, I was doing turf. And then that gave me the platform for people coming in so I could start listening and hearing. And then as I listened and hearing, then I started discovering.
So we've got a couple minutes left. Tell me a little bit about the Chamber of Commerce.
I joined the Chamber almost a year ago. So I double joined because I'm also in the mortgage industry.
Okay.
So I joined for that. And we do construction lending, sort of specific area. And then I joined for Pahrump Rentals because I started wanting to get the word out there. And this is having Pahrump Rentals. I just wanted to help the company thrive. And so I thought of myself as being outreach. So it's been great because the more activities I attend, I just might, meet somebody like yourself and meet other people, and it's been very, very good. Yeah.
So tell us, what is it like to serve in the Nevada Frontier? What is it like? What does it mean to serve here?
Oh, just really sincere people. I mean, every one of them from young to old that I've met, at least it's the way I look at people, is respectful. People, very respectful, very nice. Everybody slows down a little bit to listen to each other, which is, I had to slow down, but it's part of my nature to listen anyway. But I just kept on meeting those kind of people over and over and over. And some that were thriving and some that weren't thriving, but yeah.
Well, okay, so I have two comments, or one comment, one question. So you seem to me to be the kind of person that goes to work, and before you start, your disposition is, what people who are friends that I haven't met yet are going to be showing up today?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
So that's how you see it.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
Strangers or friends you haven't met.
Right.
Not stranger danger.
No, not at all.
So what about my last question is, what about when people walk in carrying a sidearm, open carry?
It's pretty cool in this town. Because in Vegas, they'd be, shocked and alarmed. You'd probably call the police. But out here, I had to get used to what America was. I mean, that was natural. And so if you see somebody with a sidearm, you just look and you're like, that's cool. That's well protected,
Okay. So you haven't gotten to that stage yet?
No, and I don't feel unsafe with something like that. The store, it's great.
Okay. Well, thank you. This has been a great episode, great learning experience. What's it like to serve in the Western Frontier? You're doing a great job. We're here to help you as much as we can.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.